Guys, it's Chris Sandeman back again. Extravaganza live stream coming to you live right now on December the 12th, Sunday, Eastern Standard. I've come to town to be in New York. Is right here. It's so feel sorry for me that I've done this for us, but hey Dave, good to have you, buddy. Miss you too. I can see that I'm going to have a little bit of the plethora around me. Hey Jenny with the purple heart. Hey Shay. You guys are all jumping in. It's great news. And we've got all sorts of bar. It's late for you. Bar reaching out ahead. So that's 6 or 5. It's like, yeah, 1 a.m. or 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Midnight for the bar. Hey, hi, Diana from the West Coast. And Ross. Saying hi from Edinburgh. Ross, give Nikki a squeeze for me. And I, meanwhile, will squeeze the throngs of millions of people. Not millions, but, you know, we've got thousands of people around us right now. And I've lined up kind of right in the middle of the throng to give you guys a bit of Christmas extravaganza. So here we are enjoying the tradition. Going since 1931, when a group of workers who were building the Rockefeller Plaza and Rockefeller Center buildings that are around us. Hey Jeanette, good to see ya. Hey Lorraine, thanks for chiming in. And they chipped in together to buy a Christmas tree where that December they received their Christmas paychecks in the middle and the kind of heart of New York, but also in the middle and the heart of the Great Depression. 31 times were tight after, of course, the stock market crash in 29. The world's economies were in a down spiral, and a humble, only 30-foot tree at that time was installed here at this place, down in a ditch below the Rockefeller Center right here. That's right next to us. And that's where they'd come together and collect their paychecks. One of the things that I'm going to try to do for you guys today is also incorporate some old photos, as I am wont to do, to kind of show us the good old days, as it were. And here, if we will, old tree, new tree. There's a picture of that first tree back in 1931. So let's see if I go and stand next to this potted plant. Bye. Yeah, I will. All right, perfect. Good. Bear with me, just setting up here. We're still a little early, folks. I think I'm not quite on the hour yet. So, figuring it all out. Okay, in which case we can still look at me for a second. Huh? Come on. All right. Oh yeah, we're here on a Sunday evening and Christmas shopping. Watch your pockets. Hopefully, most of these folks, what are you gonna do? Tage writes, Dana told me about the Christmas decor yesterday, so I have paid $8,000 USD to light my house. Nicely done, Tage. Good choice. And of course, he's referring to our Heights, where we saw my other favorite Christmas lights. But back to the tree, and let's continue talking about this and seeing some old photos up against the new photos. Please let me know if I'm having any lag issues as we're going. because I'll be interested to know. So yeah, so like that's it. Back in the original day. These gentlemen out here working. Rockefeller Center, Empire State Building's completion in 31, all the way until really like 1946. This construction project that would take place in New York City during the kind of Depression into the war years, and it meant that actually this project building Rockefeller Center around us, these guys who were working during that, they were actually, it was the second largest employer after the works commissions from the federal government. Rockefeller was said to keep thousands of people working and pouring during the Depression in a way which really helped New York stay. Jeanette asks, "Hey Chris, how tall is this tree?" Well, this tree that we're looking at right now is none other than a 79-foot tall Norway spruce. It's 46 feet wide and it weighs 12 tons. The tree came all the way from Elkton, Maryland, and it was driven probably, I think, by November or Thanksgiving. I actually don't know the exact day that the tree went up. Hey, Hannah, thank you for joining. Good to see you. What do we have on this tree? Colored LED lights. And there on the very top of it is a three-dimensional Swarovski star weighing 9 kilos, and it features 70 spikes. It's got 3 million crystals on top of it. So a big difference than that first original tree that we saw. We can zoom in a little bit here and take a closer look at this tree. See how our iPhone does. Sage is writing that there's a little bit of pause right now, but the picture's good. I have put it on ultra low latency. The idea being that I would be able to see your comments and respond to you. I'm not the only one out here today, unfortunately, so yeah, we'll do what we do. The guy that actually put together that stuff, other than Daniel Liebeskind, who is a famous, I guess, artist, but architect is how I always knew Daniel Liebeskind. Did the Jewish Museum in Berlin and many other architectural wonders. So, well, we're talking about the other old trees we've had in past generations. My plan is right now, hey Raymond, thanks for joining. Cheers to you for being here and coming along for a little bit of Christmas here in the heart of New York, Rockefeller Plaza and Rockefeller Center. What we can't see right from where I'm standing right now is that actually down. Happy holidays. And on the other side of the app, the world famous ice skating rink. In a little while, and we'll also see the golden statue of first debuted here a few years after the tree first debuts. I believe it's 1934 is when we finally have our first Prometheus statue, or we have the Prometheus statue showing up. That can't be right. It must be later than that. Maybe it was 34. Well. Edmund. Reception is quite choppy. Yeah, I believe it. Whoa, there are people literally knocking each other over in this crowd, folks. It's pretty interesting. On with the photos, right? I was saying. So here we have a picture of the tree from 1940. And apologies for lag and latency and chop, guys. I'm gonna keep this spot that I'm in right now because it's a great spot to be able to keep talking. This tree that we're looking at here is the 1940 black and white version of today's tree. It was, of course, so it was a calm and kind of reserved gathering. But still, no matter what was ever happening here, the staff who were working on the Rockefeller Center Plaza and the staff that work here after it was constructed will always come out, no matter war or. And they'd come out and sing Christmas carols. Even if we wouldn't have lights, we'd have carols. So this tree that we're looking at might seem a little sparse, even pretty simple, but you have to remember that 1940, we're just coming out of the World War II. So why don't we skip ahead to a tree that is from after the war. And is the 1946 tree chosen for Rockefeller Plaza is, you can see, being raised on its raised up by crane. The quickest part of actually the Christmas tree experience is the tree getting cut down. It usually only takes about 2 but there are months and months of selection that goes into finding the right tree, and then you've got the New York City itself, and because of that, and trying to get into a maneuver into Rockefeller Center, they bring the tree usually over a bridge or through the tunnel in the these giant trees, but they still have to limit the tree. It cannot be any taller than 110 feet. 110 feet, absolute max, because anything other than that, you just can't fit it in. So, thank you 1946. Brenda writes, it's a wonderful, wow, the tree's amazing. Yes, Tage, I agree with you, Brenda, completely. Tage writes, I wonder how far in advance they choose. You know, it's a great question, Tage. I'll answer that really. The tree already years ahead of time, and there are examples of times where the New England and tri-state area and whatnot, they'll pick out a tree and then they'll try to like purchase that tree and use it for the event. Now the trees almost entirely, for almost the entire existence of the tree times or the tree events, the Christmas trees, the trees have always been cut trees, felled trees, except for a few years when in the late 40s they actually took live trees and they wrapped their roots in burlap and then replanted the trees after. And there was a time where they had 2 trees, but since 71, even though the trees are being cut down, at least they're being properly recycled and they're turned into wood mulch, donated to Boys and Girl Scouts associations, things like that. So there's going there. Answered your question, Tage, but I kind of went on a little bit longer, didn't I? Ross writes, do you know who turned on the lights this year? I don't know. Someone can Google that quick for us and let us know. Thank you very much. Jeanette, how do you even grow a tree that size? With time. And that's the first thing that happens after once they slice it down, there's a master ring counter who comes in and will actually count to be able to officially let us know how old this tree that we're looking at right now, guys, is 85 years old. Roundabout 85 years old. So it took 85 years for this tree eventually make its journey here to New York City to be this the center of our enjoyment. You know, I wonder if there's going to come a time where down the road, sometime in the future, we'll look back on these trees and wonder, why were we using real trees, right? Like, trees are too valuable. 85 years of growing and we cut it down to use it for, what, a month? Maybe one day we'll look at it the same way as, like, you know, eating animals. And, I can't believe we used to do that. Or our ancestors used to cut down trees and eat cows. That's crazy stuff. But there you go. Michelle writes, hi, Aunt Helen. Wonderful. Okay, so let's continue. Our next tree that I want to show you guys, open up my notes, comes from 1949. Whoop, sorry, and there we go. All right. Amazing the amount of information you know, Chris. And Maria, I appreciate that. Get out of the way, tree. Wait, I gotta put myself back in the camera. Where am I? I'm over here. Oh, they're behind me. Yeah, hi guys. All right, so, sorry, I'm hiding behind this tree. And Maria, thank you for that. I do put a lot of work into trying to like learn an incredible amount of information about this stuff, but I use notes. I have to. There's no way I can know everything. But yeah, you know, it's a process of memory, notes, all of it coming together. All right, so where were we? We're talking about good old 1949, and that's the tree that you guys here. This tree was dubbed the White Tree. It was a Christmas tree that was sprayed with hundreds of gallons of silvery white flame-proof paint with the hope effect, the white tree. It was bedecked with 7,500 pastel-colored lights. The walkway leading up to the tree was also lined with almost 600 illuminated plastic snowflakes that created a sort of a magical effect. I have a question for Tage and Shannon and Jeanette, although Jeanette, like, think of you as English, not Canadian, despite being in Canada. But for the Canadians and Canadian residents, do you know the first year that it was not a U.S. from Canada that made its way down to New York City to grace us with some holiday spirit? So I'll let a Canadian shout that out and let us all know. And Ross, thank you. Bill de Blasio and Rob Spire turned on the lights this year. Bill de Blasio, the outgoing mayor of New York City. So there we go. The G's right over from Twitch. The stream is lagging for me. Yeah, sorry about that. It's true. I've got low latency on, and I'm in a crowd of. It's got to be at least 5,000-6,000 people here right now. So apologies. Moving on to our next tree. Finally, we've got one that I can. Still a big difference than the one that we have today, but this tree from 1955 that we're looking at right now shows these colorful globes adorning our Rockefeller Center Christmas Tree. The 50s were, of all things, truly the age of the silver screen, the golden age of the silver screen, if you will. And the entertainment industry in Manhattan, with recording studios and music publishers, also were booming. So Rockefeller Center and this area was a hub. 1966, you're right, Shannon. 1966 is the first tree from Canada. Job well done. Well, so December 8th, the lights were turned on this 65-foot Norway spruce. The tree had 2,500 bulbs and 1,400 globes in 4 colors: red, white, blue, and yellow. So you can see all of our folks around here getting their selfies and such. And Maria asked, Chris, can you zoom a bit on the tree? Are there lights, or are there only lights, or there's something else on as well? Let me zoom. Do you want to zoom on the tree? Sorry, I'll zoom in on both trees. So the tree on the left from 1955 has bulbs on it, like globes, like plastic bulbs on it. Whereas the tree on the right, which is the one that we're looking at right now with lights, is just lights. They're just Christmas lights. And then of course, you've got the Daniel Libeskind crystal star at the top as well. Whereas this one also had a star, but let's be honest, nothing compared to the star. The left and the right, 55 versus 2021. You can see the advancement in crystal stars for sure. Okay. Woo. A little tap, got a little tap. All right, so 1962. Let's go forward to 1962, I believe is the next photo I have lined up for you guys. Let me find it, here it is. And here we are. 1962, full Mad Men period in swing. This here is the 30th tree to be raised at Rockefeller Center. 30th, 1962. And the reason for that is that we've taken some years. We did actually take some years off from 31 to 34. So yes, you're welcome, Anna Maria. And Ross, yes, Daniel Libeskind, the architect, did the star at the top of the tree on the right. The modern one, the 2021, today's tree, if you will. But the 1962 tree was 67 feet tall. It's about 50 years old and was a white spruce. It also was surrounded by lighted Christmas snowballs, which you can see around this loving couple. The whole center was also decorated with smaller trees, as you can see in the picture, to add a little bit of Christmas cheer, magical glow. So, dun, dun, dun. And yes, that's right, Ross. Daniel Libeskind did do the Jewish Museum in Berlin, amongst many other things. And Maria asks, is there a Christmas tree in particular that everyone remembers? There's just a lot, I think. I think that, everyone kind of remembers the Christmas. I think, there's a real pastel Christmas tree. It's quite famous. I don't have a picture of it, unfortunately, in my downloaded license-free photos. But I think the first one, honestly, that original picture of the 31 tree. I mean, that's the iconic one because it was the first tree, right? So, whoop. Come on, phone. There we go. All right. So this is 1966 now that we're looking at, and it was the first time that they were able to capture the lighting ceremony in color as it was actually lit up, and that's what that TV camera they were showing you is the NBC Color Mobile Unit was able to capture it in color for the first time in '66. And as Shannon already correctly pointed out, this tree that we're looking at is from Canada. Canada donated this Christmas tree in honor of the centennial of its confederation. And we used it here as the Rockefeller Center Christmas Tree that year in 1966. That same year, just in kind of regular old history, to give you guys context, there was a very special animated television show directed by Chuck Jones, and it aired for the very first time. And the name of that special Christmas show was How the Grinch Stole Christmas. How the Grinch Stole Christmas. So, first back then in 1966. Tage asks, have you ever tried to see the nighttime road journey of the tree in NYC? Nope, I haven't, Tage. It comes in real late at night, and I've not caught it. I'm sure there are people, real aficionados, who hunt it down, and get it. I'm going to YouTube that later on and see if I can't find a video of that particular thing. As I just quickly check to make sure I still have my wallet in my pocket. I do. It's still there. Good news. Should have put that in my bag before I started the live stream. If you are a sticky-fingered thief wandering around watching this live stream, please don't find me. Okay, so Tage asks also, I wonder how the 9/11 year tree was so moving. We're going to see it in a few slides or photos as I load it up for you guys. Joel writes, this tree makes me think of Home Alone too, with Kevin standing in front of it. Exactly. I mean, Kevin actually is reunited with his family twice in front of the Rockefeller Center Christmas Tree. So it's an association that I often have with it as well. Should we take a look at 1969's Christmas tree, guys, real quick? All right. So here on the side of the screen now, take a look at 1969's Christmas tree. Valerie Clairbout actually debuted another famous sort of holiday staple, if you will. This triumphant collection of metal wire herald angels in the Channel Gardens. We'll maybe try to walk by there in a little bit, but I'll give you guys a quick round view of where I'm standing right now. You'll see that like the masses have closed in on me. It tends to go from being very full to a little bit emptier to very full again, depending upon what's happening over with the Saks Fifth Avenue light show. And when that thing ends, you get dumped on by people that come in here all of a sudden. So, we'll take a peek of that. But yeah, what else was going on in '69, guys? It was the first color photos of Earth as viewed from space, as the Apollo 11 mission landed 3 astronauts on the moon and took some quick photos for us to enjoy. Shannon asks, were you able to get closer in past years? It seems the barricades keep people pretty far away. Yes, yeah, you were. You were able to get closer in past years. And yep, the barricades do definitely keep people further away now than had previously been the case. And Maria, I can't wait to see Home Alone again this year as well, and maybe a Christmas movie too. Well, you know what, I'm with you. For me, my annual Christmas movie that I have to watch each Christmas is Love Actually. And clearly, you know, it's hard to beat. It's hard to beat that great movie for Christmas spirit and joy and all the rest of it. What's your favorite Christmas movie for the holidays? Are you with me? Love Actually, is that your one too? Or do you have a different favorite for yourself? Hey, Eduardo. Mwah. Boa noite. Te porto. I hope you're doing well. Talk to you soon. Let's do a quick view around as you guys are thinking about that, and just give you a sense of the crowd where we are right now here in the heart of New York City. Hey Bernard, welcome buddy. Bernard, did you already have the events? I don't know if I've actually mentioned this to you guys yet, but because I don't think I've had the chance in a while, but now that Bernard is here with us, it's worth saying that Bernard has, and Bernard, I hope you don't mind me telling everyone, and that it's not like me giving it away here, but Bernard won a very prestigious recognition and award from the Singaporean Tourism Authority for being an incredible tour guide for Singapore and an ambassador for that city and country. And he, and our live streaming together helped get him some of the recognition that he rightly deserved. You guys and your support for Bernard and helping him do the live streams, you know, allowed us to see more of him do more for the public, and then for the Singaporean Tourism Authority to see what he did. And the award ceremony is tomorrow, Bernard writes. Oh, perfect, wonderful. Very, very, very cool. Oh, fantastic, buddy. I'm so happy for you. You're gonna have to send pictures so I can post them on a live stream, okay? I want some pictures of you at a tux getting your reward, all right? Marilyn Hempen writes, hi, Marilyn Hempen here, originally from Brooklyn. Such a beautiful site. Wow, yeah, thanks for joining. Really appreciate you stopping in as well. Let's continue with another photo. Here is, we just saw 1969, following close on the heels of 69, we've got the tree of 1970 right here. And in 1970, you can see it's strewn with gold and red lights. It's the first tree of the 70s, and it looked magnificent, of course, in the city, within a city, this Rockefeller Center. Got that shining star balanced at the top of the tree to remind everyone of the joy of the holiday, something we have today as well. It was at that time in 1970 that Rockefeller Center was actually declared the second most significant piece of architecture in the United States by the American Institute of Architects, ranked only after Thomas Jefferson's University of Virginia. Pretty cool. As we switch out from 70 to 71, let's take a look at some of the favorite movies coming in. Michaela writes Die Hard Part 2 and 3. Great Christmas movies, absolutely. Eduardo, sorry, bonne nuit to you and to George. Please send my love to you guys. Lots of great congratulations to Bernard, both on Facebook and YouTube. Thank you guys for supporting him. I still get chills when I think about his live stream when he took us back to his old neighborhood, Bernard. That was really, still quite amazing. The old photos that you were able to show us then, very, very special. Lorraine writes, A Christmas Carol. Of course, A Christmas Carol. The great old traditional, I think The Christmas Carol was the movie to watch before Love Actually for Christmas. All right, well, let's go to the next year, and will you join me for a second in 1971 as we look at this Christmas tree here. Always a comparison between 2021 on our right and then traveling through time on our left over here. And this one on the left, in all of its gold and red splendor, is 1971 65-foot spruce from East Montpelier in Vermont. East Montpelier. Sounds like a French word that I'm mispronouncing, but it's in Vermont, so it's Montpelier. Montpelier. All right, I'm gonna stop. Guys, this was, as I said earlier on, this was the first Christmas tree in 1971 to be recycled at the end of the holiday season, something that we continue doing after that each year. So. All right. Skip ahead a second. Did not load that one properly. Even though we're back in black and white, bear with me. It's black and white, but it is relevant to us right now because that tree right there, I'm zooming in a little bit, great kind of aerial view looking down at Rockefeller Center and 30 Rockefeller Plaza, and we're looking at the 1985 tree. So 85, the tree arrived one day late due to the truck actually getting stuck in some mud and snow along the journey. Nevertheless, several thousand lights on the tree gave it its magical glow in the cold night of winter. And it was here in 1985 that none other than recording artist Whitney Houston, at the young age of 21, released her debut album in February. I mean, she didn't do it necessarily here at Christmas time. It was February earlier that year. So anyway, a year later, it was the top-selling album of its time. So, job well done, Whitney Houston. And thank you very much, Anna Maria Montpelier. Montpelier. The T is silent. The T is silent. Tage writes, the windows have changed some now, and I think they've removed the shutters and dental maybe. Yeah, that's what it looked like. Maybe just different angle, some building, some years, the trees with the buildings. This one looks the same. Yeah, it does look similar, I agree with you. All right. Next year here we're looking at is 1986. In 86, the Christmas tree was donated by Mary and Vinnie Froling of Nanuet, New York. So thank you very much to Mary and Vinnie back in 86 for donating the tree. Ironically, the tree had been planted by Vinnie Froling's father around the same time the work first began on Rockefeller Center itself in 1931. So it was kind of a nice circular event that by 1986, some 55 years later, the tree was harvested and added to the celebration. Hosted the tree with its 20,000 lights. 20,000 lights, guys, at the time was a record in 1980. Nothing compared to the 50,000 lights that we have today, but still, nonetheless, pretty amazing, right? And continuing on, let's take a look at this tree. Oop. There we go. All right, so 1988 tree now that we're looking at. And the 88 tree was 65 feet tall. It was decked out in gold and red. And it was freezing cold that year here. The tree was actually lit just a month after the buildings here at Rockefeller Center officially received their National Historic Landmark status. So, pretty neat. You can see Prometheus down there below the tree, of course, and the skating rink again. We just haven't started moving yet, but once we do, we will. The god that, or not god, the guy. Prometheus a god? He was a god, of course he was. Prometheus was a god himself, an undergod, and he stole fire from Zeus and gave it to mankind, making him the first philanthropist, the first lover of humans, the first philanthropia, and he gifts fire to mankind and then is punished for the rest of his life. Not a mistake that Prometheus is here because, of course, Rockefeller himself was perhaps the U.S.'s greatest ever philanthropist. Not only did he give this amazing center to us here, which was, an investment, he made money, but it was also, he gave us the land that the United Nations is built on. And why the United Nations probably is in New York City, because Rockefeller gave the land to make sure that it would be. So Rockefeller, first philanthropist. Not the first philanthropist, Prometheus, first philanthropist. Rockefeller, greatest American philanthropist probably of all time, but certainly of his day. I feel like moving around a little bit. Tage asks, I wonder what was here before Rockefeller Center. Tage, I actually can tell you that because what we used to have here was all sections of, actually a lot of this area was owned by Columbia University at one point before it moved, and they sold off bits and pieces of it. But way, way, way back in the day, there was a guy, and I did a live stream on this at one point. It was the guy who was, what's his name? I want to say Burkhardt maybe? Anyway, he was the first person to have a botanical garden, not for public visits, but just for scientific studies here in, very loosely kind of on top of that area where he was having his research garden, which he'd gone to Scotland for a long time, to University in Edinburgh, and because actually the Scots, as we might remember from those botanical garden series that I did, live streams, the Scots were really prodigious snowbreakers in the world of botanical gardens, creating gardens for scientific and medical research for the betterment of mankind. And that's where he took that information, and that's what used to be here, that earliest botanical garden in New York City. second oldest one in the US. There's an older one in Philadelphia. So anyway. That I knew in my head, Anna Maria. That was in my brain. Chris, how a Rockefeller tree for the first time? Do you remember how you felt about it? Excellent question. I don't remember. I moved to Connecticut about 45 minutes outside of New York City when I was just a wee lad, and we would definitely have come into New York to see the tree, but I don't have any recollection of it. If I close my eyes and try to remember it now, all I can see is this tree that we're looking at. It's like, don't think about pink elephants. What are you going to think about, right? Pink. I promised to take a look at the 2001 tree. Let's take a look at that one. And do I have it loaded up? Oh no. After promising. Will I be able to pull this off? All right. A little bit of an experiment. I'm going to try to share a photo to myself and then upload it at the same time. Do this without somehow screwing everything up. Amazing. That is incredible. I just pulled a photo off the internet on my other phone, shared it to myself, and got it put up into prison. I'm actually pretty excited about that. I haven't been able to do that before. That did just happen. So the tree that we're now looking at is that 2001 tree. It was lit with 30,000 red, white, and blue bulbs, all to commemorate those who have been lost in the World Trade Center attacks. And of course, the brave people who came together to help survivors. It was here in 2001 that then First Lady Laura Bush told the crowd, "America loves New York." And yeah, special time. So it asks, is visiting the tree a Christmas tradition for you? If I'm in New York, for sure it is. For sure it is. Absolutely. Tage writes, 2001, may we remember always everyone lost, including the 19 Canadians, forever and always. I'm with you on that one, Tage. And it's just worth, it's worth also just me not talking for a minute. And I'm going to walk us out towards Saks. And as we walk out, I won't talk. And it's just a minute of silence for me, which is a rare thing. To respect and honor the people across many states across the U.S. Who absolutely freak tornadoes and weather storm patterns. And when I was on my live stream last night, I kind of saw a news burst come in. I mentioned it almost flippantly, only to discover this morning that the number had gone up to 70 people with hundreds of homes destroyed, and the horror of that. So anyway, let's walk out of this mess for a second, and I'll take you guys over to Saks, and we'll take a peek. All right.
Sorry.
TikTok girl got me outbreak skates for $10. I want to take a picture with you.
Well, I think that's been about a minute. Oh, let's up around this guy. All right.
Watch your
Let's
step.
see.
Watch your step.
Real quick.
Look down. Watch your step.
Not a great view. I'm gonna have to walk around the entire other side, Shannon, to get a proper view of the ice skating rink. But take a look. You can, as promised, you can see the ice skating rink from here. But to proper see it, I'm gonna go around the other side because you can see this is the exit only side right here, and these are all the folks that are leaving, having just seen it up close. You can see the excitement on their faces, and they're like, this was a monumental viewing.
The entrance is on 5th Avenue. Come down by the ink.
Yeah. All right, it's definitely worth it. Look at how joyful these folks. They're excited. But let's go over towards ourselves and see if we can cut by and towards 5th Avenue. Now. Thank you, Jeanette. I appreciate that. Thank you guys also for the warm words for the victims, both from 9/11 and also from yesterday. And Maria writes, I gave up on going to New York for Christmas. I prefer your live stream. Oh, thank you. Big hug, big kiss. Thank you for that. But New York and Christmas time, it's a special time to be here. There's something quite magical about it. So I recommend it eventually. But the trick is, like anything in New York, find somebody who's got a free place for you to stay. These are fun. It's just like magic joy right here. It's like a little Christmas story. All right, guys. Well, we're back over to 5th Avenue, which means that we've made it to Saks, and therefore there is going to be an absolute mess of people and lights and excitement. And let's see if old Pushy Chris can't get a little bit closer and make some magic happen for us. And stand in a place where we won't get yelled at, and we'll be able to enjoy the show. But we could almost, no, I'm not going to get up there. I was hoping to maybe get over to like Atlas. The statue of Atlas is over down here. It's part of Rockefeller. Show's starting. Show's starting. Shh, everyone be quiet, the show's starting. You can see St. Patrick's Cathedral, spires over here. show runs every 10 minutes or so, Shannon. Starting from like 4 in the morning, I think, until I want to say 9 p.m. Not 4 in the morning, 4 in the afternoon. Speaking of Die Hard, Michaela. The crowd goes wild. Thank you. Oh, that was fun. Oh, how much fun was that, guys? What a blast. What a good time was that, huh? Aww.
Has no one ever seen that function yet? Apparently not.
Oh, you got some angry people from Staten Island bitching about the crowds. Staten Island, you don't get crowds, so I don't even feel it over here. All right, let's cross the street. How much fun was that? Guys, I'm so glad to be able to share that with you folks. That was too much fun. I feel like if I try to walk down the street right now in that direction. Let's try it, let's do it. Let's go, let's check out the windows real quick. Oh, we're gonna go back in this way for the officer. Yeah, oh, so much fun. What's the name? The building that we're looking at, it's the, what the original name of the building is, I'm not sure. Bernard, good question. It's been Saks & Co., Saks Fifth Avenue for as long as a long time. I mean, it's been this for a while, but it's probably like the G Hodrefeed building or something like that. I'm not sure. But let's walk by, and as we go by, we can take a look really quick at the famous Saks Fifth Avenue window displays, and that'll bring us around to the other side of Rockefeller, and we can probably get in and show you guys what the ice skating rink looks like. A little better view. We'll also be able to see Atlas because we're heading over towards St. Patrick's, and Atlas is across the street. And if you were on this live stream last year when we came here with Walter, then you notice that these are different windows than last time because the window displays are different every year, which is pretty neat. Okay, we're going to walk down that way a little bit more in a second, but this is such an iconic view that I have to flip around and show you guys this real fast. Because this gives us the proper view. Let's get by people. I'm just going to stand here next to these folks because I'm bigger than them. And you can really see the genius of Rockefeller Center and how this is all kind of set up, right? With these different houses on the right and left side, the British and French, houses, and that 30 Rock itself kind of just like sits right in the middle of it. It all lines up in this perfect view as you look down, and you can those angels that we were talking about before that debuted back in the day. Those wire sculpture angels. They're on the other side of this city bus. You're gonna park right there. Yeah, he's gonna park right there. Perfect. He could pull up, but nah, he doesn't need to. He can stay right where he is. That's cool. I'm really happy about that.
On the building.
Come on, bus.
On the building.
Do a guy a favor. All right, so as we were saying, you can see those Christmas wire sculptures still here from back in the 80s. And then, of course, the Christmas tree. All right, well, I made you guys really work for that. Yes, yes, Diana, they do. Oh, your question is specifically about what I'm looking at, is those trumpeters, the angels trumpeters, exactly. There they are. Hey, Ramon. Thanks for chiming in, brother. I hope that everything down in the NC, North Carolina, is treating you right and treating you well. All right, sorry for the fast spin, guys. I'm zooming back and forth. Don't want to get... Oh, I froze for a second. I'm a little bit concerned about my battery power. Nope, 46%, tons of battery still. Let's get the last of these lights. You see, rapido, rapido, he says, rapido, rapido, as he waves to his friends to join him. Very elegant. Ooh, oh, I like this one. This has kind of like a little Moulin Rouge-y with the swings and the lights, but like totally sax PG. Not even PG-13. I mean, guys, this is, Ramon, I wish you were here as well. And you, me, and Jeanette, we could all go for Glühwein together. This is it, guys. Like, this like just screams New York holidays. People sitting out, eating shish kebab and pretzels and steam coming off of it. And, you know, the lights and the music and the Christmas tree. And then you look down the street and you're like, oh, it's Radio City. It's Radio City Music Hall, you know, where the Rocketeers, then eventually the Rockettes, as they become known as, where they do their dance. It's just like it's happening. And music's starting again. Should we try to sneak in real quick to St. Patrick's and see if we can do that without a mask? I don't know if I'm going to be able to. Should have worn my mask. I forgot it. Maybe it's in my bag, but my hands are so cold. Because even though Christmas is secularized, still, what's Christmas without a little bit of Catholic guilt, right? No, Michaela, you cannot drink alcohol in public officially in New York, but it's the brown paper bag trick. Yeah, they're checking for masks. We'll just take a quick look. You guys can see. Ooh. So the thing about New York is that the crowd, like, they'd say about Times Square specifically, was like the famous thing about Times Square is that the lights of Times Square, and this really applies to all of New York if you ask me, the lights of Times Square would draw the people to Times Square to see the lights and the musicals. But like back in the day, even like back when like before musicals were up in Times Square, when they were still down in southern Manhattan, they would draw the people, and then the people would draw more people because people love the crowds. Like, it's so weird with the pandemic, not loving crowds, right? Because actually part of the New York thing, walk into Times Square and just be surrounded and engulfed in a crowd and the madness of that. So across the street, we're looking at Atlas with the world on his shoulders. Someone comments on Facebook, it's like it's New Year's already with these crowds. And it does feel that way today. You know, 2 weeks before Christmas, there's a lot of people out and about on the streets. Yeah, it's only going to get busier, right? Now that we can do it. So, not the greatest joy. Times Square for New Year's is not something that I would do again. I have done that one in the past, and it's just miserable. Like it's not fun. Can we make it? Can we make it? Yeah, we got it. We got it. So these people are all watching the Sack show right now, so you can really see the joy in their eyes. You can see excited. It comes again in 10 minutes. Oh, every 10 minutes.
Excuse me. We're moving. What are you? It's the black.
Ooh, big guy. Da 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 da. So I had an interesting incident before. I was walking through a crowd and all these little people, I'm like, hey, I love little people, you know. All these little people kept bouncing into me, and then eventually I kind of like had to walk forward. So I just did walk forward, and I'm a big, strong guy. I'm like, okay, some of the little people kind of fell backwards. But they were the same people that were just bouncing into me. So it felt unfair. I didn't want to knock anyone over, but I accidentally did kind of knock some people over. But I don't know what to do about that because like I'm a big guy and like everyone's pushing. It's a little bit shovey right now. a lot of crowd action going on. You ask, what is the Saks show? Oh yeah, SAKS show, the Saks Fifth Avenue show. That's that light show which we were watching a second ago, which you might have just missed, so you can rewind and still see it, because even though this is live, if you want to, you could still go backwards. This is the entrance side.
Go up, make a right, big building on the left. This is an exit only.
So the only entrance is in the middle of the colonnade.
Stairs. You can't even go down the stairs. You gotta go up, make a right.
So where he's sending people is back where those huge crowds of people are.
You gotta go.
There's just no way I'm getting in there. So we're gonna take another good look from this side.
Exit only. Go up, make a right.
But amazingly, we do get a great view here as well, folks, of, with me on my extender, we see right down into the ice skating rink, and you can see the golden statue of Prometheus, that early philanthropist, modeled after by Rockefeller himself.
Exit only. Up, make a right.
Yeah.
Exit only. Up that way.
Right? It's pretty amazing. Pretty
amazing.
It's a live stream for some folks. When people can't travel, then we try to travel to them if they can.
Oh,
so,
really?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. But
It's
you
like
know.
a thing you're trying to, like a business you're trying to make out of, or just a hobby?
So we're a historical walking tour company usually.
Exit only.
And we're usually like tour guides,
Yeah.
but that business is like dead right now, you know. So
so it's like virtual in a way.
exactly right.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you, brother. Merry Christmas. Thanks for being here today.
You gotta go up.
Yeah. Yes, Diana. Thanks. Yeah, I'm glad I'm tall too. Fights. So what we're getting a view of the This is a better side to look at the ice skating rink from by far. Oh, I can get a great view over here. What am I talking about? Shannon, here comes a better view. Oh, not really, actually. It's not better. I thought it was going to be better, but you get an idea of it. Those are the prime seats down there. But how beautiful is that? These light white lights and these like pennants kind of going by here. And then you got the tree, you know, our 85-year-old sacrificial spruce.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And even though there's a little bit of pushing, a little bit of shoving in here, I gotta tell you folks, there's some great New York spirit happening. And people are feeling the Christmas cheer. You can feel it. You can feel it. I feel it in my fingers. I feel it in my toes. Christmas is all around me. On how that feeling grows. You know what I'm saying if you know what I'm saying, right? You know it. You know it if you know it. Oops, sorry about that. Oh my God, there are just so many people. Yeah, it's a little bit breezy, Diana. It's a good call. All these guys, scam artists are out, handing out beads. There you go, this is a good place to rock up again. And another great view of the tree. I mean, I can't help but it. Like, I honestly, at this point, maybe it's because it's a little chilly, and maybe it's just because I'm feeling the joy, but I have a perma smile stuck on my face right now because you can't come down here and be an extrovert and be in this crowd of people all feeling Christmas and not feel jazzed up by it. So, yeah, it's beautiful. It's great down here. Well, look, we've gone for an hour and 7 minutes. I want to officially let you guys, yeah, come on. We had a moment of respect for Kentucky and the surrounding states. That's a nightmare. Oh my God, I can't even imagine a tornado coming through here. But we've had a go now for just over an hour, and we've gotten a little bit of the festivities in here. If there are any special requests that you guys want me to wander and mosey over towards, I could take you over to Bryant Park or to the Main Branch Public Library, or we can. Why don't we walk back down Fifth, and we'll head over towards Bryant Park in that direction, and we'll just we'll see how we're doing, and we'll kind of wrap up as we go. Okay, does that sound like a plan? All right, let's do that. Let's do that. Let me see. Because I find these crowds fun, actually. Like I mean, like I'm double vaxxed plus booster, but I know that I probably shouldn't be spending too much time going through parks, but you know, why not? I need to literally go directly that way, and I'm not going to be able to get that way easily. Let's do 6, because we've been down Fifth, and we know Fifth's a mess. Sorry about that, friends. Oh my goodness. I would love some hot chocolate right now. That would be really good. Michaela asks, Chris, when are you going to finally leave New York? When are you going to move? And that day will probably be soon, like Thursday maybe, is the plan. You know, it's hard not to be a little bittersweet about not being in New York this time of the year. But, you know, all new beginnings, right? And doors close and Doors open. Yeah. Yeah, New York. Oh, that was some very New York language right there. You go be with that effing C, Rainer. I've had a effing enough of that effing C. Well, Merry Christmas to one and all. Oh no. Michelle, you picked up that blue language in the background? See, it's reasons like that content like this gets flagged by YouTube, you know who. So we're going right by oh my gosh, you know what I'm liking right now? Warm them up. That's nice. So we're over at 6th Avenue, sometimes called Avenue of the Americas, but most people just call it 6th. And let's cross over. So I just feel like everything that's on that side of the street is going to be easier. And, you know, here I am complaining about the video getting flagged for foul language. I've got so much background music so far that I just realized that my scarf was covering my microphone. You guys can even hear me. Oh my gosh. I don't mind so much people slow walking, but people looking at their phones and slow walking is a killer for me. Monkeys. All right.
You've never done the broadcast, have you?
Yes. Come on. That is true. Fox News is right near Radio City. Oh. Fuck. Just trying to get by all these folks without me. Go. Sorry, I'm not looking at the chat so active right now. Just trying to get by this like crowd. Oops. All right, good. No, I can't really move that fast anymore. Yeah, come on. Fox News is near here, and their Christmas tree got set on fire. They've replaced the Christmas tree.
I'm just asking because
recently. It was actually on Saturday Night Live, SNL, you know, a New York institution equal to that of Rockefeller Center, to some would argue. That SNL was just making a joke about it, that Fox News, one of the Fox News anchors was complaining about the fact that, you know, these entitled people burning down the Christmas tree. It was like a homeless guy who burned down the Christmas tree, probably, you know, not terribly mentally healthy. I don't get people bringing the baby wagons. Baby wagons do not work well with crowds. Thanks, Joel. That's kind of you. I do tend to get through crowds. I don't love waiting in lines, and you know, to all those tour guides out there, like Bernard and Joel, yourself, and, you know, guides in general, there's just nothing worse than being stuck in the back of the group. You want to be in the front of the group. You want to lead the tour. So I try to push through the crowds quickly if I can. So you guys have about another 8 to 10 minutes together with me, and then we're going to be at Bryant Park and we're going to end our tour down there. Generally, when you're walking, you figure it's about a block per minute. when you're heading north or south in New York. And we've got, about 6 blocks to go. If you're on a bike, you can figure about 4 blocks a minute is what you're going to move at. Yeah. So these are them, right? Isn't this fox? I think that. Yes, this is fox. Exactly. I could smell the evil. I knew it had to be fox. Yes, this is their replacement Christmas tree, because the other one was set on fire recently. It was not an act of liberal terrorism or something. It was a homeless guy. So, there you go. New tree. They got a new one up there fast. Diana, I don't mean to always be so hard on Staten Island, but sometimes I am a little hard on Staten Island. But I guess I'm just a follower in a way, because it's the in thing to do if you live in a different borough, is to like bash on other boroughs, right? If there aren't any Red Sox fans around, then you pick on Staten Island. Those guys, Jets fans, those guys are diehard. Yes, guys, these are what I want for Christmas. Oh yes. What? Do these have little pockets on them? Do these? Oh, those are awesome. All right, sorry, a little shopping. Just doing a little shopping. Dana, my grandmother's sister, my mom's aunt, lived there for decades and decades and decades, and she was a nice lady. So look, there's tons of nice people in Staten Island. Staten Island doesn't deserve all the criticism. It really doesn't. But they do keep voting Republican in an overwhelmingly Democratic, progressive, liberal city, and that, like, of course, at moments of great political divide, is always going to lead to some division. Take a quick look down 46th Street, looking down Little Brazil Street. Well, I'm with you. Manhattan is sort of the mecca of New York, or of NYC. But Brooklyn almost was, the whole place was almost called Brooklyn. And it was going to be the city of Brooklyn, where, the 5 boroughs of Brooklyn. But thank you both to the French for teaching us how to build steel infrastructures of buildings and hang facades on them. And thank you to the Germans for teaching us how to successfully deploy elevators inside of those buildings, allowing us to build skyscrapers. Even though we'd run out of space to build outwards on Manhattan, we learned how to build upwards. And that saved New York from not ending up being called Brooklyn and instead being New York still. So, yep, that's it, skyscrapers. So, and generally you can see that in most cities. If a city has lots of skyscrapers, it's probably because the cost of land is really high. It's expensive. You're gonna get stuck, TLC. Sorry, buddy. Yeah, it's really expensive, right? The property is really expensive if they are building up, they're building skyscrapers. If property isn't so expensive, what do? They build outwards, right? So like Berlin, not a lot of skyscrapers, and the city gets bigger and bigger and bigger as it spreads into the countryside around it because property prices are low. Manhattan, a square foot is really expensive. So you're gonna buy a square foot you're going to want to build as high on that square foot as you can to try to get your money back, because you own all the space above the square foot of ground too. Those are your air rights on your building. So, and that's exactly Manhattan Island has limited space, right? Once you ran out of space, it's a question of, can we still make this the one, or do we have to do something else? Oh, sorry, Jersey, you snooze, you lose. Yeah, and I gotta cross the street. Anna Maria writes, Hong Kong is also very expensive. And right, Hong Kong, another city with lots of skyscrapers, right? Because it's not, I mean, skyscrapers cost a lot of money to build as well. They're expensive to erect and to maintain them. You know, dealing with all the wind and rain and elements and construction costs. So you also have to know that you're gonna get the money back out of it to make it worth it. I mean, and what a great time to mention that as we happen to walk into view with good old ESB, with the Empire State Building. Because the Empire State Building was that first giant office building of New York City, of Manhattan, right? In fact, and you might have been on a previous live stream with me, what did they first call the Empire State Building? The Empty State Building. The Empty State Building. Because they couldn't rent out the space in the early 30s. Sure, it was the Depression, right? People didn't have money. But also people were like, I don't one guy renting space. They had to hire people whose jobs were just to walk around inside the Empire State Building and turn the lights on and off to make it look like it was occupied, to make it look like people were actually renting. And luckily, a famous monkey escaped from his captors, and they filmed the entire documentary of it right here in New York. King Kong. Really popular place to rent office space. Okay, so we are crossing over into Bryant Park in just one sec. We actually did a bit of a live stream from around here not too long ago. So it's one of the neighborhoods, one of the areas I know a fair bit about. A lot of the architecture around here, a lot of history in the buildings around here. All right. Ramon says Manhattan is the perfect place to make the Matrix building. The Matrix movie. Sorry, yes, the Matrix movie. Yeah, I saw a preview for that. I'm very excited to see that when it happens. Oh, there's so many people walking around. Let's get over here for a second, just catch up in the comments for a moment. Vancouver started with cheaper land and everything changed. So they're tearing down the small buildings and putting up taller ones. I didn't know that. Thank you, Jeanette. That's interesting and unfortunate. And Anna Maria writes, when I went to ESB, at first I passed right by it, didn't realize how tall it actually is. Yeah, exactly. You know, I mean, the whole thing about it was originally, it was built to be that tall because they were going to put a Zeppelin, hot air balloon, like big ones, like the Zeppelins, like blimps, like a blimp landing pad at the top of the observation deck on top of ESB. Like at the 110th floor, and that's how you were gonna like get on and get off, right? We're here at the corner of 6th and 42nd now, guys. About to enter into Bryant Park. And after the Hindenburg disaster, and the Hindenburg blows up, you know, the hydrogen ignites, and it's a terrible tragedy and loss of life. They decided that they would not allow Zeppelins to fly into New York City. They thought, we had a disaster like that in Midtown Manhattan, it would be really bad. We don't think we should have giant balls of flammable gas floating over the middle of the city. So, yeah. So we've got a bit of like and speaking to Jeanette's desire for Glühwein, or my desire for Glühwein, but Jeanette channeling my desire for Glühwein through the chat. This is what I would think of as your traditional kind of German winter market. You know, your Weihnachtsmarkt, there should be Glühwein, and you should be allowed to drink it. But I think these are mostly like stickers and bags and things like that. Let's see if we can find some Glühwein. No, because if we do, I'm gonna drink it. Yeah, I'm with you, right, Michaela? Because like that's the thing is like in every like Weihnachtsmarkt, every Christmas market, you usually have like the same 15 to 20 stalls, and sometimes you have them one time, or sometimes you have them like 3 times, and they're all selling the same things, no matter which Weihnachtsmarkt or whichever Christmas market you go to. And there's always those guys doing the Lango spreads, the Hungarian breads usually, the rolled breads, and putting cinnamon powder and sugar on them and things like that. But then you always have your Glühwein guy, and they're offering you an extra shot on top of your regular Glühwein, and you can get like a shot of rum, or you get a shot of whiskey maybe? Brandy? Maybe it was brandy? Yeah. Wow, $9 a cup for Glühwein is a lot. But see, I look at this and I'm like, this must be a place having Glühwein, because I can see that this guy's a big thing. But no, it's spice professors, right? Who would have guessed? Uh-oh. These guys have food. Might be some amaretto. That's what it is, Michaela. Thank you for being my second brain. Yeah, like I look at this and I'm like, guys, the things in your Christmas market shop are way too expensive. Like yeah. Trinkets. Little Christmas trinkets, maybe some decorations or something. Here's the Fairy Lights Factory. I like this place. This is kind of cool. Neat idea. You get like a ball, like a string of lights, and then you get all these different colored balls, and you stick the balls on your light string. You can decorate it as you like. It's kind of neat. They look like they're actually made out of fabric, probably wrapped around a plastic interior, I think.
It's cotton thread and glue, and it's made like paper mache.
Oh, it's like a paper mache inside.
Yes, around the balloon, they put all the cotton and the glue, and when it's dry, they take off the balloon.
Very cool.
Yes,
Oh,
there's
it's
no
so
plastic,
neat. Love it.
And it's made by women in Thailand.
Oh.
It's a perfect.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate you adding that. You added a lot of thank you. Appreciate you. Thank you. No, of course. I appreciate it. Thank you. So you hear that, guys? Very interesting. Very cool. Fair trade business, made by a woman in Thailand. Paper mache base with a cotton wrap around it.
Oh, okay.
Right. I'm listening into Ramon and Jeanette talking about why alcohol is more expensive in Canada than in the US. And Jeanette mentioning that it's taxes. That's the kind of like the nanny state argument, right? Of taxing certain things that are bad for people to kind of like a luxury tax, but like, sort of like a sin tax, if you will. And by making alcohol more expensive, the idea is that it'll encourage less people to drink it. Fortunately, usually those taxes disproportionately affect people of lower incomes, right? Because like if you're a rich guy, and someone's like, you're gonna pay more tax for that whiskey, you're like, dude, whatever. It's basically free anyway to me because I make $1 million a month, so why not? And it's something that I thought was really neat that I believe it's in Switzerland. You guys jump in if I'm wrong about this. Maybe it's only in certain cantons in Switzerland. But the idea is that if you're speeding, the ticket that the police officer gives you for going too fast is actually based not upon how fast you were going, but a combination of how fast you were going and what your annual income is, right? What's your tax bracket? And if you make a lot of money per year, then your speeding ticket is proportionally more expensive. Because if the goal of the ticket, if the goal of the tax is to get you to behave a certain way, then it has to be painful enough that you feel it and that you react to that. So So really what it should be is that if you're a blue collar worker, maybe a 6-pack of beer in Canada should be like $4. But if you're an investment banker, then maybe it should be $400 for that same bottle of whiskey or something like that, those cans of beer. And that would be kind of a little bit more fair. How cool is this? We've got Le Carrousel, only $3 a ride. That's a bargain, by the way, guys. I think that's a steal, in fact. Could easily pay $6 for that ride someplace else. What do I got? An hour and a half in now? Okay. Gosh, the smell of food is awesome. And I am definitely feeling my hunger. But I still haven't seen Glühwein. I'm sure there are like 2 designated Glühwein places. This is like the line. What is this a line for? What is this even a line for? What are these people all waiting for here? Ah, I see. They're waiting for the raclette. I can smell the cheese coming off this, guys. You guys know raclette? This is Swiss as it gets. He will do a quick little video in here. Hi there. And here they go. What they're doing is they're melting that cheese. They're heating it up, right? You can see the hot irons, and at the top of that cheese starts to melt and bubble up. And eventually what they'll do is they'll end up kind of smearing that cheese down into someone's sandwich. Looks like they've got some jamon, their little prosciutto. Maybe they'd have potatoes traditionally. So very, very tasty. Oops, sorry about that. Let's slide out of the way. Enjoy, guys. Enjoy. Okay. Very yummy. Great stinky cheese smell in the air right now from that place. Very tasty. Very tasty. But overall, you can see lines as people queue up to grab a bite and grab a bevy. Let's walk up to the Bryant Park Cafe up here. Yeah, Ramon, I'm with you. I am also hungry, which means that I'm going to have to lovingly say goodnight to you guys. And this is not yet Merry Christmas time. This is not, Merry Christmas, of course. Happy holidays in case I don't see you again. But we will live stream multiple times between now and then as I road trip around a bit. Not exactly sure the route. And as I said, thinking starting Thursday, but not exactly sure the departure. But it'll be a dependable, trusty ride from my mom's Toyota Camry Chariot, which is going to take us on to our next great adventures. Love this cafe, by the way. It's on the back side of the main branch of the New York Public Library here. The great New York buildings. Beaux-Arts style building. We're actually walking right now on top of where once was a graveyard, as well as once was the main receiving tank for the Croton Reservoir, which kept New York healthy, hydrated, and not on fire for decades and decades. So, well, Merry Christmas, guys, and happy holidays. And if, hey, look, if you're not celebrating Christmas, happy Hanukkah to you as well. So always an option here for you. Really appreciate you guys joining in. Thanks for being here with me on the live stream. And as I say goodbye from New York City for this evening, I look forward to seeing you all again very soon. Take care of each other, right? Love each other. Look after one another. And stay safe, stay vaccinated, stay boosted. That's William Bryant. I named the park after him. Journalist. And thanks for keeping me company. Hope you enjoyed it. As always, smash that thumbs up button. Hit that like. That always helps, whether you're, Facebooking or you're YouTubing. Always great. Merry Christmas. But like I said, not a goodbye for me, because I'm going to have a chance to say Merry Christmas to you again before too long. So, but from New York City, Bryant Park, with the main branch of the New York Public Library behind me. I wish you adieu. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful evening. For those of you who are going to bed now, good night. For those of you who are starting your days in Singapore and in Sydney, then have a wonderful day and end to your weekend. Hey, Lourdes! Merry Christmas, guys, and talk to you very, very soon. Good night.